So, let's just get right into it. Have you ever felt like your own brain is kind of working against you? You know, like your mind is just spinning its wheels, overthinking every little detail? Well, today, we're going to decode the psychological tools that can turn all that mental energy into an incredible asset for making decisions.
No, really, think about it for a second. Does your mind ever feel like it's just stuck in overdrive, analyzing every possible flaw, every what-if scenario, until you're completely paralyzed? If that sounds familiar at all, then you are definitely in the right place. Because here's the thing. That superactive mind of yours, it isn't a bug, it's actually a feature. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack the mental habits that can transform that raw processing power from a source of stress into your greatest strategic advantage.
I mean, we've all seen those people who just seem to have a cool head in a crisis, right? Everyone else is panicking, but they're just calm, logical, and getting things done. It's not magic, and trust me, it is not some lucky roll of the genetic dice. It's a skill.
And that right there is the key. That ability to stay rational when the pressure is on isn't something you're just born with. Nope. It's the result of practicing very specific psychological tools. So let's dive into the first and, honestly, probably the most important of these habits.
So the first habit is all about this one idea. Treat your thoughts not as the final truth, but more like a first draft that needs a really good edit. It's about you becoming the editor-in-chief of your own mind.
The fancy psychological term for this is metacognition. It sounds way more complex than it is. Really, it's just the simple but incredibly powerful act of stepping back and just looking at your own thought processes. So instead of just having a thought, you ask, hey, where did this thought even come from?
And you can see the difference right here. The default, instinctive mind, it just reacts. It's on autopilot. But the editing mind, the mind of a logical leader, hits pause. It questions its own assumptions. It actively goes out and looks for evidence, separating what's a fact from what's just a feeling.
And the payoff for doing this? It's huge. By practicing metacognition, you build up this natural defense against two of the biggest traps in decision-making. Confirmation bias, where you only see what you already believe, and overconfidence, that sneaky assumption that you've already got it all figured out.
Okay, let's move on to our second habit. This one is all about mastering the most critical moment in any high-pressure situation. That tiny, tiny little space between something happening and how you react to it.
I just love this quote because it really gets to the heart of it. I mean, having a high IQ is one thing, sure, but being able to control your emotional reactions so you can apply that intelligence, now that's what truly sets a logical leader apart.
So how do you actually build that control? It's this simple three-step process. Something happens, that's your trigger. But instead of that immediate knee-jerk reaction, you intentionally insert a pause. That pause, that's where the magic happens. It's the space where you shift from emotion to logic, and it allows you to come up with a truly strategic response.
The difference in the outcome here is just massive. An impulsive reaction lets emotion take the wheel, and that almost always leads to frustration and a ton of wasted mental energy. But a strategic response, that puts logic back in the driver's seat. It saves your cognitive energy for what really matters, finding a clear, effective solution.
And that brings us to our third and final habit. Now, this one requires a pretty fundamental shift in how you see the world. It's about moving away from rigid, black and white certainty and toward a more flexible, probabilistic way of thinking. This is all about getting away from that black and white view of the world. Absolute thinkers, they use words like always and never, and they tend to defend their ego at all costs. But a probabilistic thinker knows the world is full of nuance. They ask, okay, how likely is this, really? And most importantly, they are willing to update their beliefs when new evidence comes along. They'd rather be correct than just be right.
You know, this is a sign of true intellectual strength. The ability to adapt your point of view based on new information, it shows that you value truth way more than your own ego. It's the difference between a mind that is brittle and a mind that is truly resilient.
So, what happens when you bring all three of these habits together? Well, something pretty powerful starts to happen. You stop being a victim of your own quick-fire thoughts, and you start becoming the deliberate architect of your own responses.
And if there's one core idea I want you to take away from this, it's this. That restless, analytical mind of yours, it is not a problem that needs to be solved. It's a high-performance engine. It just needs the right operating system, the right mental architecture to really function at its peak. So here it is, your brand new toolkit for high IQ decision-making. Number 1, edit your instincts by thinking about your thoughts. Number 2, create the gap by pausing before you respond. And number 3, think in probabilities instead of absolutes.
These 3 habits are your new framework. And in the end, it really all comes down to this one question. Your mind can either control you with its impulses and its biases, or you can build the structure to direct its incredible power. The choice to become the architect? Well, that's entirely up to you.